Well, this video will try to be sensitive to these topics. And let me just give a little background very quickly because this has been a raging debate for some time. So, Scoville, whose real name is Brett Allen Miller, a couple years ago got introduced to the community through Aaron Smith-Levin. And I'm not even going to get too much into Aaron's attempt to explain the relationship. That was a bit of a mess. But the basic gist is that Aaron was trying to do these Danny Masterson videos and, frankly, make a lot of money. So he had Scoville on as an expert because he's an ex-convict. Now, Scoville is a criminal. He's never denied that. But he usually focused on his bank robbery. And basically said, oh, yeah, it's a bad time. I recovered. I renewed myself. And he runs his own, quote, recovery channel. Although recently he's obsessed with P. Diddy and doing a lot of moralizing videos on the evil of Hollywood. And there's been a back and forth about, well, did he really change? And how bad were his crimes? Now, interestingly, recently he did admit to a major thing that was being debated. Well, did he have, we'll just keep it very, very vague, relations with a minor? And Brett admitted, yes, he did. Yes, he did have relations with a minor. So he basically tried to reframe it because people were looking at his record and saying, well, it seems like you were guilty of more than just bank robberies. In fact, his whole sheet is pretty incredible. So it's not looking good. But now we have something that's pretty devastating. So some people might be like, well, I don't get it. What's the big deal? Like, we know he committed the crime. Well, here's the thing. When Brett is speaking, he said that he was 16 and the victim was 15. Now, as far as I know, he's never provided documents, right? So for whatever reason, he can't just give us the court documents. He could just show us, this is what the court said, here are the dates, here is the issue. So he's kind of played fast and loose. He says, well, he can't be a bad guy because he's not registered. The thing is that people don't understand America. America is very contextual. The laws are very sensitive to the state, to the county, even the town. So it could just be, being cynical, well, the reason he's in Arizona is he doesn't have to get registered, right? There are ways to get around the system. So just because he's not registered doesn't tell us he's innocent. So the article is saying he's 19, right? Now, this is not me. This is his own testimony. So I do want to acknowledge Goot, Knife Hoarder, and others who have found these pretty devastating videos. So wait for it, because something is not adding up.
I had a statutory case with a 15-year-old. Did you hear that? Okay? They'll take this clip. I had a statutory case with a 15-year-old. Make you think less of me, doesn't it? We can do a whole show.
He was 16. The article is saying he's 19. So there are several possibilities, right? It could be the news report is wrong, right? News articles will get things wrong. I've done journalism. Mistakes do happen. So maybe we need to look further. Maybe there's a correction. It could be he was charged at 16, but the case was resolved at 19. So maybe there's just, the headline is kind of misleading and the sentences are misleading. So he wasn't lying. Or, which is, well, we got to be honest, it's probably more probable, he lied. He just lied. He just lied. His victim was 15. He was 19. If he had used the real ages, it would have looked bad, right? He was trying to imply that somehow or other, this was his girlfriend, right? He was guilty of, quote, sex with a, quote, underage teenage girl, and that was it. Nothing more, nothing less. He was just a young 16-year-old. Oh, I just didn't know the laws, guys. I mean, it's just an accident. So that's the story he's been putting out for a long time. It's not once or twice. This has been his fictional story he's been putting out. Now, the critical question, is this true? Is it not true? Yeah, at this point, we don't know. There's a lot of things here just we don't know for sure. Because again, it surprises people, but yeah, looking up Brett Allen Miller, you're going to get a lot of criminals. I know, I'm pretty stunned myself. It's like, Brett Allen Miller is a common name? Apparently so. There are several different Brett Allen Millers. This is pretty insane. So he was guilty. He's not denying guilt, right? With the 15-year-old. He's denying the context, saying, oh, you misunderstand. Oh, it's all innocent. Oh, it was just young love, yada, yada, yada. And here he is, freely admitting with his brother, who has his own criminal record. Yeah, it's a whole family of criminals. His brother saying, yeah, we did that thing once. We would have gotten 40 years. Now, just think about that. With the 15-year-old, he did go to jail for a while. He didn't get 40 years. So if what he did with that 15-year-old, he only got a couple years, what did he do to get 40 years? Like, this is pretty serious stuff. Like, you have to do something pretty extreme in the US to get 40 years. Like, you could do quite a number of crimes together, you still would not get 40 years. And here they are bragging, saying, yeah, we could have gotten 40 years for that. Easy. And that's just one crime they did not get captured for. So, yeah, it's just not looking good. And on top of this is that his ex-girlfriend, Reese, is just in a state of denial. Now, other people, I think, are more critical of Reese. I've actually been, I think, trying to be in the middle. But Reese is just continuing to double down that, yeah, these are just lies, guys. People just putting out lies about him. Mr. Scoville is innocent. He's just a nice guy. People are saying, Mr. Scoville is dangerous to women. No, no, no. Women should be around him. Please, women, go to him. There is no danger. Well, I don't know what Reese is up to. I really don't. But she's not being responsible. Now, if Scoville is nice to her and decent to her for the money, right, because they were running a channel together, so it's all a business, well, that's fine, Reese. You're not the issue. You're not relevant. The question is, what if other people are victimized? Men and women. Or teenagers, right? This is an all-purpose guy. Like, age does not matter. Like, the only good thing yet is we don't have crimes against babies. I'm not being rhetorical. That's the only age group so far that has not been hurt by him. So it's just not adding up. Now, again, he has documents, right? He has a parole officer. So clearly he has access to documents. If he wants to clear these things up and we got things wrong, he could just publish things, right? This is not a privacy issue because these court cases are public, right? Good or bad, you can access these things. They're not violating his privacy. Again, this is in the public record. So if we got things wrong or this news article was wrong, well, maybe we should apologize. But even if we were wrong about a few things, the totality is pretty damaging. It's pretty damaging. So it's just a lot here. It's a lot here. So I will just end here that one of the things they had back and forth with Reese and Aaron is that Aaron allegedly was saying bad things behind the scenes, and Aaron denied that. I'm not even going to get too much into that controversy, but Scoville apparently was just very self-righteous, saying, I can't believe it. I can't believe you're saying these things about me. I just can't believe it. I'm like, really? Really? Like, listen, if you still want to follow Scoville and think highly of him, and listen, I was a fan too. I admit it. That's fine, but come on. You got to open your eyes. This story he's putting out, like, oh, I did wrong once, but now I just help recoveries. I help women's. I'm Batman and Superman. I'm just helping the communities. That's just not who he is. He's just what he is. He's a grifter. He's selling a fairy tale. If you want to believe the fairy tale, that's fine. But just feel forewarned, this is a fairy tale. And the fact that he's actually upset that people are talking about him is like, yeah, get a mirror. Please, get a big mirror and look at yourself. Really.